Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Red Flag Review. I'm very excited for this episode. I have Tim Sanity and I have Chef Bug Rub on the podcast. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Doing good, Echoes. How are you, man?
Oh, man, it's been a week, but I'm here.
How's it going? It's good to see you. Jefferson couldn't make it tonight, so you got Mousy McCheese, executive producer of the Chef Bug Rub Show. I'm here for you. Hey, we're gonna have a great show.
Who invited this guy?
You did.
Oh, I don't know if I trust the mouse eyes. I don't know, Echoes.
Wait. What's wrong? What's wrong? You guys species or something?
Hold on. Wait a minute. What did you do with him?
I didn't do anything. He had a bit of bad cheese, and he's Mousy. What are you doing, man? This is my interview, man. This isn't your interview. Well, Chef, I thought you get all the interviews. I was hoping maybe I could. No. This is my interview with Echoes Nation, okay, and Tim Sanity, not yours. All right, go do something else. All right, I'm sorry, Chef. Hey, how's it going, guys? Good to see you.
Hey, there's the man.
I'm sorry about that, man. It's so hard to find good help these days.
Yeah, man, it's tough, man. They just like to take over, you know?
Yeah, you're telling me about it. How you guys doing tonight? It's good to see you guys. I'm so happy to be here.
Doing good. Well, Mr. Chef, since you're here, let's start with you. Tell the audience about you, what you stream, what your content is. So like if someone tuned in your stream, like what would they know? Like what would they be watching?
Well, the Chef Bug Rub Show is a live interactive cartoon show here to bring you dread, joy, and everything in between, where we have live cartoon extravaganza showdowns and business that you might like. If you're a fan of Adult Swim style humor and things like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, this could be the show for you. What do? We do live call-ins. You could call into the show. You can talk to me personally and tell me all your problems. We've got a wide array of characters that all have different purposes and things, and we have plots and we have lore and everything, and it's pretty much just a live cartoon that you could tune into. And then we sometimes do gaming, as well as we also do host our own podcast called In the Hot Tub with Chef Bug Rub, where I invite people over to my island, Grubstein Island, and you come sit in my hot tub. And that's pretty much it. That's what we do.
Are you sure that's not related to something else?
Well, it was Jeffrey Epstein's island, if that's what you're asking. I bought it, okay? I bought it. Okay. It was on sale. I got it for $50, okay?
Okay,
I had too good of a deal to pass up.
Hey, man, no judgment here.
I changed the hot tub water. Just kidding, I didn't.
Lord.
Did you invite Diddy over? Is there baby oil in the hot tub water?
Oh, yeah, Diddy comes over every weekend. Great guy.
From prison, they red eye him out, huh?
Yeah, no, yeah. we got a private. We have the Grub Lita Express. It's a private jet. It's great. Came with the island.
Chef, just one more question for you. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on kick.com/Chef Bug Rub, as well as YouTube Chef Bug Rub, Twitch Chef Bug Rub, and Rumble Chef Bug Rub are the main platforms that we stream on. We stream Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then the cartoon show, I don't know exactly if we're making the switch, but we might be switching to a later time zone to like a 7 p.m. Eastern for the Chef Bug Rub Show, which is on Wednesdays.
Awesome.
That's the cartoon show.
Yeah, guys, this guy is just out here doing different content. And I want to show y'all just real quick, if y'all can see. Just look at this setup that he has. It's amazing. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this shot. Amazing.
Yeah, that's the whole studio. And that's Ivan, and then we got my nephew, Bucktooth Billy.
Very nice. All right. Tim.
Yeah.
Step up to the plate, my guy. Same question to you. Who are you? What kind of content curate? Where can people find you?
Yeah, man. So I've been doing content creation for about 5 years now. I started on Twitch, went to Kick when they just after they first launched, and migrated over to Rumble. I still stream on all the platforms. Tim Sanity X on all of them. I play a lot of competitive video games, but I consider myself a variety gamer. Got into a lot of different things. I do walkthroughs, tutorials, hot takes, debates. So I do like to get into the occasional. I'll say they're debates, but it's pretty heated back and forth where I'll talk about hot topics and things going on, and I also do some coaching things on there. So like if people need help setting up. Streamers that are just getting started out, people within the gaming org that I'm a part of, take the oath. And I am the CRO for the organization, so I handle a lot of top of funnel revenue, and I just make sure that we're pretty set. Like right now, we're competing in Philadelphia LAN for CS, and then we are going to be at LAN in a couple of weeks for a Denver 5K for Call of Duty. And like I said, we're a lot of cool things in the works. I'm very multifaceted and doing a lot of things right now, working on partnerships for the org and things like that. So it's been a wild ride over the last 5 years. I've met a lot of really cool people. I actually think that I met Echoes through Crow and Crow Fam when Crow was on Twitch, and then we migrated over to Kick and things like that. And so it's been such a fun ride, and I think that's inherently why I create content in the first place, is because I love making those connections, building those relationships, and meeting new people. And I think I've made a lot of incredible friendships along the way. So
absolutely love that. And honestly, like one of my big things in doing this podcast is I want to be able to introduce the audience to the creators that come on the podcast, because there's a lot of people out there that haven't discovered y'all, and I want to give people the opportunity to let them see y'all's personality, and hopefully one day tune into one of your streams and maybe become a lifetime viewer. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. So, all right. Well, now that we've gotten the formalities out of the way, it is time to get into the stories. Now, last episode, we got a little intense with the stories. So this time, I decided that we're going to start off pretty tame. But I will let y'all know by the end of this, it's going to get pretty intense. So I hope y'all are ready for the ride, and y'all are going to see the titles of the Reddit stories pop above my head so y'all can follow along and know what story we're on. So, gentlemen, are we ready?
I am ready.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let's get into story number 1. Would I be the asshole if I refused to split the bill evenly because I ordered way less than everyone else? I mean, how many times has this happened to y'all? Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the whole thing? It's just you didn't split the bill, or you didn't.
That's just the title. That's just the title. We haven't even gotten to the we haven't even gotten to the meat and bones yet.
I need more details first.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
We need the details on that one.
Here we go. Last Saturday, we met up with some friends and stopped by a nice little restaurant while we were out walking. No one had agreed beforehand that we'd split the bill, and when the check came, one of my friends simply said, "It's easiest to split it evenly, right? Plus the tip." And everyone agreed right away. But here's the problem. I only ordered pasta and water, which came out to about $18 before tip, while my friends had steaks, drank cocktails, shared appetizers, and 2 of them had a bottle of wine, and the bill came out to $47 a person. So I suggested that everyone just pay for themselves, and the atmosphere changed immediately. Not aggressively, but it was noticeable. One guy who is a friend of my friend said, "Yeah, that's easier." But it's not easier at all, because it was a one-time dinner with 2 people I barely know through a mutual friend, and I'll probably never eat with them again. So I just paid for what I had eaten, and I left. My girlfriend says I did the right thing, but my friend says it wasn't right, and they had to chip in more to cover everything, and now he feels embarrassed in front of the others. Would I be the asshole if I refused to split the bill evenly because I ordered way less than everyone else?
Personally, no. I mean, you ordered way less, going into that. You said they agreed to split the bill evenly prior.
They did.
Wait, hold on. It was prior to ordering the food. They all said that they'd split the bill.
Yeah.
I don't think the person's the asshole. And the reason I say it is because of this. It sounds like it was what? 3 people? 4 people?
Yeah, it was 3 people. Yeah.
3 people at the restaurant. Okay. So here's an example, right? So last night I went to a bocce dinner for a friend's birthday, right? And it was like 15 people, and we all split the bill. And I was totally fine with that. You know what I mean? You end up paying a little bit extra and stuff at the end of it all, but it's totally fine. But when it's like 3 people, dude, like just pay what you ordered for. Like, I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I've never understood the concept of, like, if you go out to dinner with friends, right? Like, you, in my mind, you should technically, especially if you get like less than everybody else. Now, if you had gotten like, if everybody had gotten the same thing, that's one thing. That makes sense, right? But like, if you're only getting a small little portion compared to everybody else, why are you paying for them? Unless it was a situation where they didn't realize how much it was gonna be. Maybe they didn't have the money to cover it, and they were just like, you know what, it would be easier if we just split it, and then we'll figure it out later. Like, cool, right? But this guy only got, according to the story, he only got pasta and water, which was $18. But his friends had steaks, they drank cocktails, they shared appetizers, and then 2 of them had a bottle of wine. Like, I mean, the difference here is insane.
I think you run into a situation because there's 2 sides to the story, right? There's 2 facets to it. take into consideration. I've always been a fan of extreme accountability. So like if I agree to pay for something and I agree to split the bill beforehand, I'll split the bill, but I probably just won't go to dinner with those same people at the same time with making those same arrangements. I'll probably set some ground rules, right? Like, hey, if your guys' bill comes out to more than what mine is, I'll pitch mine in. But like if it's like double mine, which I'm sure it was, drinking and all, considering cocktails and steak, like those weren't ground rules that were set. So I don't know. I'd almost say, I understand where he's coming from. I don't think he's an asshole for it. But I also would feel kind of bad because they footed more of the bill. But also, again, that's why you set ground rules. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm not going out to spend $50 on dinner, $60, $70, $80 on dinner. If you guys are going to go all out, I can't do that. Right. Like, so, but I don't know. But I mean, but then there's a side, like you said, he just got pasta and water. So like, when you're splitting the bill as friends, you don't order a whole bottle of wine.
You shouldn't have to pay for somebody else's alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not drinking it.
That's another thing.
Because the alcohol is what costs the most when it comes to going to dinner. A bottle is like $45 at a restaurant, and your meal is probably like $22. So it's just you shouldn't have to pay for that at all.
I feel like that's
I think the person who's assuming that you should have to pay for that is indeed the asshole.
Yes. And that's another thing. When I go out to dinner with my friends, it's like an agreed upon thing. You cover your own alcohol. Everything else, we can split the bill. But alcohol is completely on your bill. Like you cover your own alcohol. So that's usually how we have the server split everything up. A little more work on their end, but we usually tip them well to kind of go through the trouble. So
yeah, see, so normally like I've gone when I go out to dinner with people, usually it ends up being like couples, and usually you end up splitting it where it's just like every couple and stuff like that. But there have obviously also been situations where like it's just a whole group of people. And granted, yeah, sometimes it is easier to just split the bill depending on like what the situation is. Like if you're ordering stuff for the whole table, then yeah, everybody's pitching in. But like if it's just you ordering your own stuff and then you're just expecting like someone else to pay like foot half of it for you, like let's put this in perspective for a second. So his part of the bill was only $18 before tip, and somehow it ended up coming out to $47 a person, which means between the 3 or 4 of them, we're talking the bill was like $130, something like that, before tip. Like, how are you going to expect someone who only spent $18 of that to foot the to split it with the rest of you? Obviously it was your choice to buy all the alcohol. Like I don't know. Like you should be responsible for your own stuff. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless something is agreed upon where you say, you know what, we're gonna get stuff for the whole table and we're all gonna split it. That's it. I think in this situation, he's not the asshole. However, I do think that there could have been better communication where they could have said, hey, you know what, we're probably gonna get alcohol and we're probably gonna get this. And okay, you know what? And then maybe he says, you know what? I don't really want to be a part of that. I don't really want to join. And that probably would avoid the situation. But those ground rules have to be set beforehand, not just saying, okay, well, if everybody's agreeing to split the bill, all right, we're going nuts. And I think that's why they went nuts, is because they all agreed that they were going to split the bill. So they're like, you know what? If I buy all this expensive stuff, it's not going to be as much when you split it between the 3 people.
It's a good point.
You know what they say about assuming, huh?
Makes an ass out of you and me, huh?
Yep. True that. So let me get into some of the comments here. So the top comment here says, they quoted this line, it says, they had to ship in more to cover everything. So their complaint is that they had to pay for the stuff they consumed.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
Valid.
Another comment says, no, this whole splitting the bill evenly thing needs to stop unless it's agreed upon by everyone involved. There's nothing wrong with just paying for what you eat and drink. My advice, if you have friends like this, make it clear before that you will be getting a separate bill, or when the waiter comes to get orders that you would like a separate bill.
Yeah.
So I think just creating that boundary right out the gate, saying, you know what, if y'all want to order a bunch of stuff, go ahead, but like I'm not going to be responsible for it at all, because you shouldn't. Like if you're going out,
agree.
If you're going out with friends like this that just go absolutely insane and just start throwing money everywhere, and then they're just like expecting you to, because like, you know what if this guy, like, you know, didn't have a great paycheck that week and was like, you know what, I'm just going to get pasta and water. I'm going to save myself some money, not going to spend a bunch. And then all of a sudden now they put this pressure on him. You know what I mean? Like you don't know that guy's situation.
I mean, to be fair, he probably shouldn't be going out to dinner in the first place if that's the case. But
That's also true. You're right.
You know, yeah, I mean, him going out to dinner with people and agreeing to split the bill with people that are just friends of his friend. He didn't really know what he was getting himself into. You know, you got to have that cognition, right? Like I went out to, when I was much younger, to a club with a buddy, and he was like, hey, my friend's going to come with us. Me and my buddy go up to the bar. We have a couple of drinks, right? His friend comes over and says, hey, guys, I just got bottle service. I want you to chip in. I'm like, huh? That's a little more than what I was planning to spend tonight. So he's like, it's like, no, I'm not doing that. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's the asshole. I just think that there needed to be clearer boundaries, like you said, communication.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for him because like that's a situation that you don't want to be put in. Because like, you know, because most people would just be like, all right, fine. Like you put me in the situation, like fine. I mean, props to him for putting his foot down and saying, you know what, I'm paying for my stuff. I'm leaving. Like I'm not doing this. And while he might feel some guilt about it, like I don't think it was wrong of him to do.
definitely not wrong. Not the asshole.
All right.
I declare it. He's not the asshole.
We are declaring. Love it. All right. So we started out pretty tame. I thought that was a little fun one to start. This next one is going to get interesting. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Story number 2 says, am I the asshole for refusing to attend my friend's fake engagement party after finding out it was staged? All right, let's get into this. Basically like, hey, we're engaged, but we're not engaged, but we're going to plan a party because, you know, just wait until I get into the story.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm jumping the gun here.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, here we go. So I have been friends with who we're going to call Lena for about 8 years. We're not super close anymore, but we still keep in touch and support each other when things come up. Last week, Lena sent out invites for an engagement party. She told everyone she got engaged to her boyfriend of 2 years, and it was a pretty big deal. Family, mutual friends, even some coworkers were invited. I was honestly happy for her at first and RSVP'd yes right away. A few days later, I happened to run into her sister, who casually mentioned that the engagement wasn't official yet. I was confused and asked what she meant, and she told me that Lena and her boyfriend are just testing out the idea of engagement and plan the party to see how it feels and get reactions from people. I was honestly taken aback. I didn't say anything to Lena at first, but the more I thought about it, the more uncomfortable I felt. To me, an engagement party is meant to celebrate a real decision, not something hypothetical or experimental. So I messaged Lena and I told her, I'm not coming to the party anymore. I tried to keep it polite and just said I wasn't feeling well and how some personal stuff came out. She called me out later saying that she felt hurt and said that I was being judgmental and unsupportive. She also said it was just a fun thing that I made it weird by overthinking it. A couple of our mutual friends think I'm being dramatic and that I should go support her on her journey. Now, I'm second guessing myself. I didn't want to ruin her moment, but at the same time, it didn't feel genuine to me. Am I the asshole for not going?
No, dude.
No.
What is that? That's such a 2026 like thing. What is that? We're gonna test out an engagement.
So their engagement was an alpha? Is put it in video game terms?
Yeah,
it was an
right.
alpha.
Basically,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, early access.
It wasn't even beta. It was just an alpha.
No, you're not the asshole for not going. Why are you going to like go out, celebrate, fabricate your own emotions in order to celebrate something that's not real? You know
Well,
what I
listen,
mean?
if you go and you don't have to bring a gift because it's not real, I mean, you know, that's one thing. But like usually when you go to engagement parties and things like that, you got to bring a gift. So I'm assuming that they were expecting that. You know,
Key context. You're right. Yeah, usually engagement parties they have like a gift, or they expect their friends to like foot the bill, like the close friends, like everybody will put something in. It's kind of similar to that last
they
one,
split
right?
the bill, equally.
So it sounds like
back.
they just wanted a free night out. That's what that sounds like.
I don't know. I guess it all depends, right, in the context of it all.
So here's the line that I think that really like stands out to me in this entire story. When she's talking to the sister, and the sister said that Lena and her boyfriend were just testing out the idea of engagement and plan the party to see how it feels and get reactions from people. The fact that
What does that mean?
the fact that you think that you have to set up a fake engagement and a fake engagement party to gauge how people would react. That sounds to me like a couple things. It sounds to me like one, she's kind of insecure, but two, like she's just a genuine asshole. Like I don't understand faking stuff like that, Because here's the thing, like people with engagement parties, they're going to bring gifts. And now what you're doing is now you're getting free gifts from people for an engagement that's not even real.
I think the like the underlying one of the unsung things in this whole story is, why are they basing whether or not they get engaged off the reactions that they get to a fake engagement? Because does that, like, that's the bigger part that I feel like makes you an asshole, is like, are you just not going to get engaged because nobody showed up? Like, are you just, is that what's going to happen?
It sounds like they're not confident in their relationship.
I want to know what the boyfriend thinks. Like, cause it, like, obviously we have like her, like we obviously like have her side of it, but like, I'm curious to know like what made the boyfriend think that he was just going to go along with this. Like, I want to know what the boyfriend's thought into this is, because if he's allowing her to do this, like, that's crazy to me. But also, like, that is just telling me that their relationship is on a whole nother level of wacky and weird. Cause like, why, like, how? I don't get it. I don't understand.
It's almost like, I mean, if he is co-signing this, right, it's almost like their relationship revolves around attention to validate their feelings, and that's more than a red flag.
Yeah, and like, and
sounds
and
like
to
some bull, man. Sounds like some bull, man. Some bull poopy.
And to your
Sorry,
your
trying to keep it
point,
clean.
yeah, no, you're good. No, to your point, Tim, when you were like, you know, why are they basing like if they're going to get engaged or not based off of who's going to show up, like that? The concept of that just confuses the heck out of me, and I just like, so I want to real quick, because I happen to scroll down to the comments, and this comment is very interesting because I think it really encompasses like what is in my mind, but I can't get it out. So this person says, no, it's bizarre. Why would you pretend to get engaged to see how everyone else feels about it? This seems like it's all about attention and worrying about what other people think about your life than actually living your life and making your own decision. Honestly, sounds like influencer crap. Sorry, we can't get married. My followers don't like it. Look at all those downvotes. Don't want to lose followers and subscribers, which realistically, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like we didn't have enough people come out to the party. Oh, we didn't get enough gifts. We're not getting engaged. We're not getting married. We're going to wait. We're going to give it like a year and we're going to try this again. Like, what?
Yeah, that's I don't know, bro. I'm married, man. I got married. I just, we had an engagement party. I knew we were going to get married. I couldn't imagine faking an engagement. That just seems a little silly. Especially like the thing is too, is like, how long has this couple been together, right? Because like I feel like that's another piece of context of like, if they've been together like, 4 or 5 months, 2 years. I mean, I think you should probably know at that point if you want to get married or not.
Yeah, 100%.
So why are you testing out that theory?
I wonder if there's a situation, there's some context not being said about, like, I wonder if they like fight a lot, or like the friends don't like one person or the other, and they're testing the waters to see if people will receive it well, because there's key individuals that don't like their significant other or something like that may not show up to the wedding, or I don't know if there's context missing there, but like this face value, this just seems attention seeking. This just seems like you have two narcissists who got together and were like, hey, we're just going to rely on our friends for this attention and validation and emotional reassurance.
Here's my idea. Ready, Echo? Here's my idea for your show, dude. After every one of these, we should decide if we think that this is a real story or not.
That's true. That is true, because Reddit, a lot of times they can get crazy, using different programs to generate stories.
Yeah,
sure.
I think this story isn't real. I think it's fake.
Dude, I could see this happening for real, especially in today's day and age. The amount of people who rely outwardly on validation of who they are, I could see this being real.
Yeah, I was about to say I could 100% see this being real, because like think of society, think of the society that we live in. Like a lot of people, just think about it in the streaming world, or just in the content creation world. There's a lot of people that will go out of their way to view bot and follow bot and do all these different things to try to make it look like they're more successful than they are, and when they don't get their way, and people aren't watching their streams, and people aren't supporting them monetarily and all this different stuff, like all of a sudden they get a certain kind of way and they're just like, you know what, I'm done, like I can't do this anymore. It's like I could very well see this happening in a real life situation, and I do truly think that this is a real story.
To clarify, I could see this happening too. I think that this particular one is fake. I think it's fake.
That's fair.
Yeah, no,
And the reason I think it's fake is just because I think it's fake.
that's right.
That's it.
Yeah. And
you
know
can't
what?
tell me otherwise.
And you know what? Your opinion is your opinion.
You can't
that's
tell
all
me
that matters.
otherwise that I don't think it's real. It's not real. It's not real, everyone. God, you trust everything you
doubling
read on the
down.
internet?
I honestly, Chef, if you told me pigs could fly, I would believe you. I really would.
Yeah.
I've never seen a pig fly, but I believe they do.
I was going to
Because
make a
it's what I
really
think.
terrible joke, but I talk in my real life. I talk to law enforcement all day, so they would get a little bit of a kick out of it. I don't know if everybody else would. So yeah, I've but no, yeah, this story to me, like I said, I respect it that you think that it's fake. I don't know, man. I could see it being real, but I guess coin flip, right? A lot of people on Reddit try to get some attention sometimes.
Hey,
That
you know
Reddit
what?
karma is
just like
as
this
gold.
couple, just like this couple's trying to get attention. Who knows? There's a lot of people that post on Reddit that are trying to get like all the upvotes and whatnot, and will just post like crazy stories that don't actually happen in real life. And some people just sit there and they're just like, how in the world could this happen?
Here's the next theory. What if the person who's making the post is actually the person who's doing the engagement party?
Plot twist. Plot twist. I love it.
Interesting.
I love it. All right. We are getting into story 3. This one's another interesting one. Here we go. This is from the Am I the Jerk thread. Not the asshole, but the jerk. Here comes story number 3. Am I the jerk for booking a separate hotel and leaving my friend's family vacation after she tried to turn me into a free nanny? All right, let's get into this. So this happened last week, and my friend group is currently divided. Some say I am a legend. Others say I am a heartless jerk who abandoned a mother in need. What a way to start off a story. I, 26 male, have a close friend, let's call her Sarah, 27 female, who has 2 kids, ages 3 and 5. Sarah has been complaining for months about how she needs a break and a vacation. She invited me to join her and the kids at a beach resort, saying she really valued my company and it would be a fun, chill trip for all of us. I paid for my own flights and we agreed to split the cost of a 2-bedroom suite. The red flag started at the airport. Sarah kept forgetting her diaper bag or asking me to hold one kid while she chased the other. I just figured that she was stressed. But the moment we checked in the hotel, it got worse. Sarah literally sat on the balcony with a glass of wine and said, "Oh my God, I can finally relax. Hey, can you take the boys down to the pool for a couple hours? I really need a nap." I was taken aback, but I did it once. The next morning, she woke me up at 7 a.m. by letting the kids jump on my bed and then asked if I could watch them while she went to the spa for a 3-hour treatment she had pre-booked without telling me. When I said I had planned to go for a long walk and explore the town, she got all teary-eyed and said, "I thought you were here to help me. I am a single mom and I am drowning. I thought you cared about us." That was the breaking point. I realized she didn't invite me because she valued my company. She invited me because a babysitter for a week would have cost her a fortune, and I was a free alternative who paid half the room bill. I told her straight up that I am a guest, not an employee. She called me selfish and typically male for not understanding the mental load of parenting. While she was in the bathroom, I went online, booked a solo room at a smaller boutique hotel 10 minutes down the beach, packed my bags, and left. I sent her a text saying I would pay my half of the original suite, but I was spending the rest of my holiday actually on holiday. Now she is blowing up my phone saying she is stuck in the room with crying kids and it is all my fault for ruining their family memories. Am I the jerk?
I applaud the man for leaving because you went on a vacation, you paid for your flight, you split the cost of the room under the pretense that she enjoyed spending time with you. Not necessarily that you were there to watch her children, so she got some time away. She is the jerk. 100% without a doubt. She used him as a free babysitter because he literally, and honestly, to split the bill of the hotel room.
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people just try to be nice and get taken advantage of. You see it so much. Happens all the time. And I feel so bad for this guy because it's just like, you know, he genuinely thought that this was going to be like a nice family trip and like he was just going to get to enjoy himself, and all of a sudden he turned into a babysitter.
Yeah, I think too, though. I think maybe this guy probably thought he was going to get some. He thought he was going to get some. He thought he was going to get, you know, a little little beachfront action, and it turned out he didn't. And she probably took advantage of him, knowing that he probably liked her and things like that.
Yeah, I mean that's
Why would you? But also, like, why would you just go on like even as a friend? I think that's weird. Why would you go on vacation with a woman with kids and just be like, "Come on vacation with us. It'll be fun." I would honestly like see that and be like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to go on vacation with you and your kid."
I can see that 100%, but also like who knows that maybe he needed the vacation too, and like he paid for his own flights. They split the cost of the hotel room. Like I think there's a situation there where he went into it thinking one thing. Again, granted, there's no context where it says like, he was into her or like he liked her or like wanted to get some with her. So that's kind of more of an assumption thing. But my thing is this. Why are we out here taking advantage of people like this? Like if you can't afford a babysitter, don't like I understand that. Like don't get me wrong. Like I have 2 kids, right? It's very tough for us to go on vacation and find people to watch our kids. Like do not get me wrong. I understand that aspect of it. But here's the thing. Don't go on vacation if you can't figure that out. And I guarantee you that there's probably people in her life that would have no problem watching the kids. Now, granted, I think it's said in here that the vacation was maybe like a week or a couple days. It doesn't say exactly how long the vacation was, but if it was a couple of days, I mean, I don't see why she couldn't have like her parents or like maybe like one of her best friends that like wouldn't mind, you know what I mean? Like ask around, like instead of just assuming, oh, I have this one friend that I can invite that I know will be more than willing to come on vacation with me, and then guess what? He's going to be the babysitter. You know what I mean? Like there was many different avenues that she could have taken to not be in this situation, but also where's their dad? It says she's a single mom. Like where's their dad in this situation?
Yeah.
Like I would say, hey, I would message the dad and say, hey, listen, like, I don't know the context of like their parental situation, but like it seems to me like she has the kids a lot of the time. So like I would say, you know what? Hey, listen, I really need a vacation. Like, please, like just watch them for a few days. Like just have them for a few days. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal. But then again, I don't know the situation or the context of like their parental situation or co-parenting or however that is.
Yeah, if we place this assumptions aside, like for me, and just going based off the story alone, is she used him and for a babysitter, and the reasonable thing to do, and it seems like he was really patient about it too. Like he went on that vacation almost seemingly expecting that he was going to have some involvement, like he's going to be around the kids at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what really like threw him back was she planned a 3-hour spa trip and didn't even tell him.
Yeah.
Just threw the kids on him. And was like, and here's the problem that I would have with that is like, listen, I don't have a problem. I have 2 kids, I would love, I'd love more kids. Like again, the reality is that he probably wouldn't have had a problem watching the kids if she would have just been honest and been like, hey, I really need a break from the kids. So on the vacation, I'm going to take a few moments where I'm going to probably take a couple hours and actually take care of myself. Would you please watch the kids while that happens? When I'm, go do your thing, whatever you got to do, but would you be okay with that? And I'm pretty sure he seems like he's into her, or else he would have went on vacation with her like that. I don't foresee that he probably would have had an issue with it if it was just communicated.
Yeah. And it says in here that it was a 2-bedroom suite. So I'm kind of under the assumption that I don't think this guy was necessarily into her. I think it was like they had separate bedrooms, but obviously she had this whole thing planned out. Like she already had stuff pre-booked, like ready to go.
Yeah.
But I do really agree with you, Tim. I think if she was upfront and say, hey, listen, like I'm going through a rough time and like I need a vacation, like would you mind like coming along with me? Like even if she said, you know what, let me pay for the hotel, like let me pay for the suite. You know what I mean? Like as a thank you for doing this. Like let me, like you don't like just worry about your flights, like, but also like say, you know what, I need my time sometimes, but also like I'm willing to give you your time too, so like you can go and do what you want to do too. Like there's got to be communication, there's got to be a plan there, but clearly it was really all about her in that situation.
I agree with that.
All right, so let's get to some of the comments here. Top comment with 2.3 thousand upvotes So it's not the jerk. She invited you on vacation, not a full-time babysitting job, especially one you were paying for. Helping occasionally is one thing, but expecting you to watch your kids nonstop without asking first just isn't fair.
No arguments here.
Nope.
None.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know what? Is this guy the jerk? I think this guy is the idiot, is what this is. I think if you needed to go on vacation, you shouldn't have went on it with a single mom and her 2 kids and not expected that to happen. Any of that.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I think if he did want a vacation, like I would not have put myself in that situation. But again, there are people out there, and I can definitely say I'm one of them, where like, you know, it's very hard for me sometimes to say no to someone. Like, especially we don't know how close these people are. Like they people could be friends for years, and you know, he was just trying to do something nice. You know what I mean? So like we don't know the context there. So I don't know if I would necessarily say that like he's in the wrong in any way.
Yeah.
But what I would say is I think moving forward for this guy, I would be very mindful of putting yourself in situations like this, because when you put yourself in situations like this, it's just going to go bad every single time.
I always hate these stories because I feel like there's just so much context that's missing. You know what I mean? It's just so annoying. It's like I don't know who to believe with any of this.
Yeah. Sometimes when people write these Reddit stories, they tend to leave context out, and then it's kind of on the reader to maybe fill in that context. And then at that point, like things can kind of get a little cloudy, where you can say, "Oh, I feel this way," but then you read the story and you're like, "Wait a minute, like I kind of feel this way now." You know, kind of pulls you. It kind of pulls you in both realms. So I agree there. All right. That was story number 3. We got 2 more stories to go. This next one is another interesting one. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, story number 4 reads, am I wrong for only putting my fiance's brother's name on a save the date and not include his girlfriend's? So this says, hi, everyone. I need honest opinions because I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I'm planning my wedding and recently handed out a save the date at a small barbecue. My fiance's brother, Damien, was there with his girlfriend. They've only been dating a few months, less than 6 months. I know Damien's history of being with a girlfriend and cheating on her multiple times. Now with this girlfriend, they are long distance and only a few months in. Anyways, I only wrote Damien's name, but I physically handed it to his girlfriend and said something along the lines of, this is for y'all. In my mind, she was clearly included. Later, I found out she went to the bathroom and cried because her name wasn't on the envelope and felt like she wasn't invited. Her and Damien went to my in-laws' house after the barbecue and started saying, I'm not going to the wedding. She told my in-laws, and now it's turned to this whole thing where people are saying it looked bad and come on, just put her name on it. It's not that big of a deal to put her name. I was honestly shocked because I never meant to exclude her. And I even reached out to her to try to explain, but she just hasn't responded yet. She was going to be the brother-in-law's +1. Just didn't want to put her name since I've heard of people breaking up and them still showing up to the wedding. I cannot do that because our wedding is only a certain amount of people because we want it to be intimate. Now I feel like I'm being made out to be rude or inconsiderate, and it's really bothering me because I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. I tried calling her and I left her 3 messages saying that I would love to have a conversation about all this. I even texted her the online soft RSVP. However, I have yet to hear back from her phone call or text message, and she is not RSVP'd either. She made a big show in front of my in-laws, but that does not communicate with me. At the same time, I understand how Mike looked from the outside. So, am I wrong here? Should I have put her name even though they've only been dating a short time? Or is this being blown out of proportion? I'm open to honest feedback. I just want to know if I messed up or if this is just a misunderstanding.
I want to know what the brother thinks.
Given the context, I don't think she's wrong. I mean, yes, knowing what the brother thinks would probably help us understand more, but I think in the situation, less than 6 months, the brother has a history of cheating on his girlfriends. They're long distance. Like, you know, you're checking a lot of strikeout boxes here to be, and, you know, I think from the girlfriend's perspective, while, you know, we want to validate people's feelings to some degree, doesn't mean that all feelings are logical, right? Like, your name wasn't on the invite, but she did say, it's for y'all. It's, you guys are invited. You know, something along those lines. So she insinuated when she handed the invite that it was for both. So it's like we're splitting hairs here. And you're just because you did put the name, you're complaining to the in-laws. That's more of a red flag on the brother's girlfriend's part, in my opinion, because you're making something out of nothing, because she clearly said you're invited. But because your name's not on the invite itself, you're now creating turmoil, distance, and tension inside of the family. So
Here's
To be
the
honest, I would have did the same exact thing if I, had a brother like that. Like I would do the same exact thing. I would invite my brother. I would not invite my brother's girlfriend. Now, if it's my brother's fiance or brother's wife or something like that, that's completely different. Nope, I don't think this person's wrong. I think what they did was actually like a pretty normal thing.
Yeah, so obviously the context here is that the brother clearly has a history of cheating on his girlfriends. And OP makes a very good point in here saying like there are so many times when people will put like names, when they bring a +1, they'll put the actual name on the invitation, but then all of a sudden like something happens and they don't end up showing up and then it's awkward. But then maybe they show up to the wedding anyways to start like causing a scene or cause drama. You know what I mean?
That'd be
Like
even more awkward.
Exactly. And that's where it creates that weird situation. So from personal experience, my wife and I just got married a few months ago in January. And one of the biggest things that we did that ended up working out very well, because like we had a very intimate wedding. We had like, I think it was like 40 people. It was amazing. And what we did was we said, hey, we're going to invite the married couples. And then anybody that isn't in a serious relationship, you don't get a +1. Just because it creates an environment where there can't be any drama. Because
Yeah.
like unless there's a married couple arguing, that's one thing. That's a whole nother thing that it doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen. They get too drunk, which is also why we didn't have alcohol at the wedding, because alcohol can take things to the next level. But my thing is the girlfriend was never uninvited. Like the girlfriend was invited. Her name just wasn't on it. That was done out of precaution because, again, we know what the brother's dating history is. So for her to take this and just turn it into like this whole big thing, I wonder if the girlfriend knows about his history. That's because I wonder if she knew about the history. I wonder if she would have reacted like that. Granted, I also wonder if she would even be in a relationship with him in the first place if she knew this information.
Real quick, I think this guy messed up by giving the invitation to her. He should have gave it to his brother personally or mailed it to them.
Well, so me, like, a rule of thumb that I always like, I have a lot of friends who've gotten married and they'll send out RSVPs. And, one of the things that I've seen that has worked out really well is just creating a baseline rule of we're only going to send invites to blood relatives and give you a +1. Then you decide who you want to bring. Doesn't matter if you're married, doesn't matter if you have a girlfriend, you decide that. And that way you don't have a turmoil. Hey, this is our concrete rule. Doesn't matter who it is. And then, but I think you're right, Chef. I think the handing it to the girlfriend was the wrong thing. It was the wrong move. But I also, again, extreme accountability, something I believe in. That girl is really immature. I mean, for them to walk up and say, hey, this is for y'all, and then for her to immediately not see her name on there and go to the bathroom, cry, and then create tension and turmoil within the family, rather than just having an honest discussion saying, hey, this really hurt my feelings. Like I didn't see my name on here. It makes me feel like you guys don't actually want me there. She never even went to them and kind of had that interaction. She just immediately went to the drama, right?
I still think that it's so funny though, because like when you say it like that argument still sounds really weird. Like going up to her and being like, I feel really hurt that my name isn't on this. But are we really making that argument? Because that still does not make her seem any better.
It's not your day.
Exactly.
I mean, man, I'm just baffled that somebody would go to the bathroom, cry, and then start drama with the family. I mean, over something so small.
Yeah, and I mean they've been dating for less than 6 months. Like I could see if this girl was around for like a couple years. Like, okay, I like leaving her off the invitation. Then that tells me that maybe the girl getting married has maybe an issue with her or something. I don't know, but like we're talking like a few months here. And again, with the brother's history of dating and what he's done, I do not blame OP for leaving her name off the invitation. But I do agree that maybe OP should have handed it to her brother, the invitation to her brother. I think there would have been a lot less drama that would have ended up happening. Because then in that case, if the brother got the invitation and the brother went to his girlfriend and was like, hey, like we got invited to the wedding, then if she still has a problem with it, then clearly that's a her problem. Because then to me, like, okay, that's still childish. Like, okay, your name's on an invitation, but it literally says +1. Like, do you think someone else is going to fill in that +1 spot? Like,
just somebody randomly shows up and says, "Hey, I'm coming in there with you." Yeah.
just shows up to the wedding. Hey, you know that +1 you had? Yeah, that's me. Hey, how you doing?
And slams 2 beers together like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Plot
I'm ready
twist.
to party.
Plot twist, that girl was actually not his real girlfriend. It was somebody random on the internet he's never met before. You know? No, a question. I got a question. I do got a question.
Mhm.
Echoes, what do you think do you think the girl would, if they did break up, the guy cheated on her, the girl, they did break up, do you think that girl with her emotional instability that she's already shown, do you think she would have been that one that shows up to the wedding anyways?
100%. And again, that's why she didn't put her name on the invitation, because clearly she has shown here that a very little small thing can cause an entire overreaction. So imagine what happens if the brother ends up cheating on her. I can't imagine what kind of mess that was going to be.
Yeah. I want to go to that wedding.
No. I wouldn't show face at that wedding at that point. Nope.
I'm the guy that
I want to go to the wedding and see it happen, see what happens.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
I'm the guy you hear with the chair legs screeching across the floor as I scoot the chair into the corner and I sit down, drink in one hand and popcorn in the other.
I was about to say, I'm pulling up with a chair and popcorn, and I'm watching the entertainment. Like, I'm getting a free show at that point. Like, that's crazy.
Chef's got his movie goggles on now.
Sitting in the corner just going,
you can't see what I'm looking at. So the top comment here says, okay, OP, in no way is this your fault, and I cannot believe your fam is saying anything to you. 6 months? Nope, she is a +1. And again, like, it says less than 6 months, but even then, like, 6 months, like, no, like, you're a +1. Like, you're not engaged, you're not married, you're a +1. Because again, that literally anything had happened. And I don't know, like, when OP gave her the invitation, I don't know how long of a period there was until the wedding. You know, I don't know if there was a year. I don't know if there was a couple months. But, like, I'm telling you right now, if she gave her that invitation and, like, the wedding was for, like, the year after, there is so much that could happen in that year, especially with the brothers' dating history. I would not put her name anywhere near that invitation at all.
I agree, man. I think she's a crazy chick. And you know, the cry in the bathroom over an invitation is insanity. It's insanity,
the brother,
and you should be thrown in jail.
100%.
You're not invited to the wedding, you're thrown in jail.
The brother's history tells me that he's attracted to emotionally damaged people, and just from what he does, because typically people that do that are usually attracted to the emotionally damaged.
The brother is also going to jail, straight to jail
with you.
Yeah.
So another comment here says, agreed. At our wedding, we didn't do +1 because everyone had been together longer than us. Only the evening invites had +1, so friends could bring a friend, since they weren't my or my husband's friends and wouldn't know everyone else. Less than a year, you should be a +1. I've been a +1 despite being with him 12 years now, and I don't get offended. I'm like, well, he's your friend. I'm his wife. It's someone else's big day. I'm blessed to attend, and if they don't put my name on the card, I'm not going to get upset over it. And it's the point we made earlier. Like, it's not this girlfriend's wedding day. It's OP's wedding day. And at the end of the day, like, if you get offended with something like that, then I personally, I wouldn't want you at the wedding.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
because I don't want drama on my wedding day. Like, that needs to stay at the door. And if it can't stay at the door, I don't want you there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really, like, I don't think people are, like, a lot of people, it doesn't really process through their mind, because anybody who hasn't been married or had to experience the not just the financial burden, but just the sanctimony and the amount of beauty that go in planning and time and dedication that you just can't get back. There's no do-overs. Once the wedding happens, it just happens. Like, so, you know, I wouldn't want to, if I know that you can't have the maturity to leave your crap at the door, like, let's just not come. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if I have to live without you being there, or live with the terrible memory of you trashing my wedding, like it's Wedding Crashers times 10. Yeah. I think I know which one I'm picking.
We're going to the Catalina wine mixer.
I bet you she wasn't even going to bring a gift, dude. She probably wasn't even going to bring a gift.
She sounds like the she sounds like the girl that sneaks the shooters in her waistband.
What's wrong with that?
Wait,
what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Chef's got the leather holster of kinky bottles that he just
I
pulls out at the wedding.
I went to a wedding one time, and there was during the ceremony there was a beer boy instead of like a ring bearer and things like that. And it was a dude who had a holster with beers all on his waist, and he was like walking down the aisle doing the dance to "I'm Sexy and I Know It" and just handing everybody beers. It was pretty sick. I made sure I sat on the edge to make sure I got the beer.
Heck yeah.
Just I have a friend that I play video games with, and he got married to a girl who was over here from, I believe, China, and I don't quote me on that, but she was here on a visa. They got married, and at their wedding, the venue would not serve them hard liquor. Somebody wanted a whiskey, and they would only serve them beer. And the bartender said, "If you throw me a few $100s, I'll serve you some at the wedding." And I'm like, huh. So the bartender's hustling you for the liquor.
Hey,
it's your own wedding.
You know what, man? The economy is hard out here. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Dude, I asked,
that's crazy.
I asked him how he didn't flip out on the bartender. He's like, I wanted to, but I was trying to get married. I was like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's
How
gnarly.
do they just not serve alcohol? That's crazy. How would you just not serve hard liquor unless they didn't pay for
all
the
beer,
package?
all the beer they want? Apparently, it came down to they weren't licensed to serve hard liquor. They had it, but they weren't licensed to serve it. So that's what they told them was the excuse. So you're willing to, for $300, go ahead and serve it. Apparently, you slide me a little something under the table. I'm willing to lose my. I'm willing to throw our licenses out the window for that. But
I'm willing to put myself in prison for the night if you.
There's a
give
lot
me
of stuff I'll do for $300.
Especially in this economy. Yeah.
If I've seen those videos, okay, you can't hide those online. I've seen what you do for $300.
I got nothing to say to you, dude. You're just like the people who claim I have a Grindr account.
That wasn't you. That was somebody impersonating you, right?
Yeah.
I think it was the mouse. I'm pretty sure it was the mouse. Yeah.
Well, he did say he wanted the spotlight.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure.
It's true. Chef does have a Grindr account. Don't let him fool you. I don't appreciate that. No, it's not true. It's not true. There's no Grindr account. There's nothing. There's no allegations. And we're happy, fun family channel.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we are about to get into the final story of the night, and I have saved the craziest story for last. And I warn you, this is going to get intense. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the final story of the night comes from the Best of Redditor Updates thread, which means that this story is going to have an update to it. So it's going to be kind of long. So buckle in. The story reads, one of my 24 female best friends, 25 female, cheated on her boyfriend, 26 male, over the weekend. They're now engaged and he doesn't know. All right, here we go. This story was from 10 years ago, the original story. So here we go. I introduced one of my best friends, let's call her Kiana, to one of my good friends, Mason, 3 years ago. They instantly hit it off and were an item in no time. To me, it always seemed like they had a good relationship. They started getting serious, bought a condo together, and just adopted a dog from the local shelter last month. Awesome. On Saturday, Kiana and I went out dancing with some of my colleagues from work. We were all pretty tipsy, and Kiana says she had to go to the bathroom, so I went to the bar to get us some drinks. After about 10 minutes, my colleague asked, "Where's Kiana?" I scanned the bar to find her talking to this guy. Kiana is pretty flirtatious when she drinks, but as I was walking towards her, I saw her lean closer to this guy and start making out with him. I stood there in shock, but after regaining my composure, I made it over to her and said we need to talk. I asked what she was doing, and she said it was nothing, just the heat of the moment. Please don't tell Mason. I was pretty pissed and told her that was a shitty position she put me in. She said she had to go to the bathroom, then asked me if we can go home right after. I went over to say bye to my other friends when I noticed her leaving the bathroom line and walking over to that same guy again. They were on the other side of the bar, so I started making my way over again when they left. I began calling her phone and she ignored me. And just as I got outside, she was getting into a cab with this guy. I was seething. I tried calling her again and left her a couple texts and voicemails, asking her to call me as soon as she could so I know she was safe. That was my first priority, to make sure she wasn't going home with some creep. Then I would talk to her about cheating on Mason. She finally got back to me around 5 a.m. Sunday morning, texting me that she was safe and she needed to talk to me. I received that text when I woke up around 9 and told Kiana to come to my apartment. She was over in about half an hour, asking if she could borrow a change of clothes, and she started crying. She said she slept with that guy last night and instantly regrets it. Kiana said that she missed having other men attracted to her, so she gave in to the temptation. I told her that even though it was hard, she needed to tell Mason. She said she would and thanked me for not judging her too harshly. I said what she did was wrong and it was unfair to make me choose sides, but Mason is my friend and most importantly her boyfriend, so he deserves the truth. A few days passed without word from Kiana. Yesterday evening, she texted me saying, Mason proposed. I said yes. I sat and stared at the text for a few minutes. Then she calls me, squealing with excitement, and gave me the details of the proposal. I then asked her if she told Mason about what happened last weekend. She said she didn't and couldn't now or it would ruin their engagement. She then said her mom was calling her, so she hung up. I haven't heard from her since yesterday evening, but she is already posting her ring all over social media. I love Kiana to death. We've been friends for over 10 years, but I can't help but be angry at her for not only cheating on Mason, who is literally the kindest, sweetest man, but for hiding it from him and accepting a proposal. I get the sense that she is insecure, which is why she sought validation from some random dude at the bar instead of her boyfriend, now fiance. She's put me in such an awkward situation. A part of me says I need to stay out of it, not ruin my friendship with her as this is none of my business, but I can't get the image of her kissing that guy and leaving in a cab with him. Mason deserves the truth too. I also have been cheated on before, so I know how it feels. I don't want to ruin anything, but the weight of the situation is killing me, considering I'm the only one who knows what happened. What do I do?
Interesting. So the cut and dry answer is she should tell him. One, because it's not her fault that her friend put her in a precarious position and she has made her have to violate her own integrity to keep a secret. It's not like her friend went out and made a purchase or her friend went to they went to the Thunder from Down Under together. She went home and had sex with somebody. So it's a little bit of a, there are lines in the sand and that's just one of them. You put her in the position, you kind of did it to yourself. Shouldn't feel bad. And if that person, and if Kiana wants to not be friends with her friend over doing the right thing, that tells you more about Kiana's character than it does her friend, in my opinion.
I have a lot of thoughts.
She sounds like a really crappy person to do that.
So I want to start this by saying that clearly there's something wrong with their relationship, because to me, if you need validation by going out, getting drunk and going home with another guy that's not your boyfriend, that tells me that you have a lot wrong and that relationship clearly needs to be evaluated. And let me go here.
It's probably not even a relationship.
I want to see how long they've been together.
Just her. It's probably just her just being, very selfish and in that moment really choosing to be selfish.
Yeah, and another thing too is she's trying to get her friend to not say anything because she's like, I feel so bad, I regret it, I'm not going to do it again. And it's like, I'm sorry, but how in the world are you going to trust that she's not going to do that again? She's not going to have a quarrel with her fiance, or they're going to get into an argument, or something happens and all of a sudden she's like, oh, I want to go out with my friends and drink, and all of a sudden here she's back in the same situation again. Who's to say that she's not going to do it again? Well,
she got away with it already once. Doing.
You need the rest of the story, Echo.
Well,
hand it over.
She already did it once. She's going to do it again because she got away with it. And she's already self-admitted that she misses validation and attention from other men that aren't her boyfriend or now fiance. So it's going to happen again. It will, because those feelings, those insecurities, or those feelings of not feeling like you're enough, those low self-worth feelings don't just go away on their own. So unless she's going to some serious therapy sessions, that's not going to go away, and it will happen again, which means you'll be put in that position another time. So again, I think she should tell him, and she should make Kiana have to stare at that ring through the glass at K Jewelers and not on her finger or wherever the hell he bought it. But at the end of the day, and again, if Kiana's mad because you're holding your friends, I think the quality of a good friend is not just when them telling you everything that you're doing is okay and keeping your secrets. I think the quality of a good friend is holding you accountable and actually being holding you to the content of your character. And, Kiana made a mistake. She's now afraid to own up to that mistake because she knows that he'll pull the ring. But it's the only way she's going to learn that she can't do that without consequences. Consequences are how we learn not to do things, right? You know what I mean? So as human beings. So I think she should tell him. But again, I think that it's definitely a difficult position to be in, especially when you're really good friends with both people.
I have a curious question. Who is to say that this is the first time she's done this?
I don't think it is.
Because
she was,
because like what I'm understanding is like this is the time where her friend caught her, right? But like, who's to say that when nobody else was around that she didn't go to the bar and do this with other people? Because like, if she clearly wants to lie about this, who's to say that she's not lying about other things?
well, yeah. Typically, people who are as comfortable as she was with a few drinks in her have done this before. I mean, you walked right up to him. Your friend called you out. You went to the bathroom and then walked right back up to him. Then got in a cab and ignored your friend's calls. And then you just, you called that same friend to let her know you're engaged and got excited. You got excited, right? Like,
yeah.
How do you talk to a friend who's trying to hold you accountable, excited you just got engaged, and say, no, I can't tell him. She's done it before. She just didn't get caught.
Yeah. If someone tried to put me in that position, I am always gonna, like, I don't care about friendship. Like, I don't care about any of that. At the end of the day, like, if you cheat on someone, like, and you're trying to confide in me and, being like, you know what, like, I did this, like, you saw it, but we're not going to say anything because, like, I don't want to, ruin my relationship. I'm sorry, but guess what? We might have been friends for a long time, but that's not something that I can just lie about. I can't. First of all, you've put this girl in a very weird position because, like, she clearly saw you do this. Like, this isn't one of those situations where, like, she just told you about it and then you're kind of like, oh, well, I didn't see it, so, like, I don't know. But, like, this girl literally saw her do this with her own eyes multiple times.
Yeah.
And, like, I agree with her. Like, it's just one of those things, like, when you go to sleep at night, like, when she goes to sleep at night, that's what she's thinking of. She has that image in her head. Like, how can you live like that? Like, I would be at the point where I would go absolutely insane and be like, no, like, there's just no way. Like, I'm telling the other person. Like,
yeah, I think what it boils down to is, like, you are asking me to hold your secret to violate the content of my character. Like, my character is to be a person of integrity, to be a person of accountability. And you're asking me to not be myself for you.
yeah.
And I think that makes Kiana not a good friend. And it makes you a good friend to hold your friends accountable. And if Kiana doesn't want to be your friend because of that, it was bound to happen anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was about, it might have happened 5 years down the road, it might have happened 10 years, but at some point, Kiana was going to ask you to do something you're not okay with. And she was going to keep asking you to do things you're not okay with. And, unfortunately, that's, not all friendships last forever for a reason.
Yeah, and I think it's to what you said before. Like, when you have a genuine friendship, like, you don't just sit there and tell the person what they want to hear. You, like, the whole point of a genuine friendship is you hold the other person accountable. Like, if they do something wrong, like, if they're on the wrong track, you get them on the right track. You be brutally honest, because, quite frankly, like, how are you supposed to grow as a person if you're not being held accountable? Like, how are you supposed to learn from mistakes if you're not being held accountable? And then that brings me back to my point. I'm just it just makes it sound like this isn't the first time she's done this, because clearly she thinks that it's just okay. And that is what kind of scares me for Mason, is like, how many people has she done this with? And she's, and and again, it doesn't give the context of how long they've been dating, but, like, she's like,
I feel sorry for Mason because, like, if he's he's probably, and just, I'm making assumptions here, and we already kind of established what assumptions mean, but from what the friend's attestation that he's a good guy, and for her to disappear for a whole night with them getting engaged or probably living together, I'd imagine, I imagine that he is probably pretty gullible in that relationship. He's like, okay, he trusts her completely, fully, without fault. And now, she's going to, if Kiana, the right thing for Kiana to do, in my opinion, because so many times you hear about them fessing up to things like that and it destroying their trust in future relationships. I think the best thing Kiana could ever do is just leave. In my opinion, that's the best thing she could do for Mason is leave, realize she screwed up, and honestly, I not tell him, and just tell her girlfriend like, "Hey, I left because I made a wrong decision, and I don't want to destroy his faith in relationships," because that's what she's going to do. She's going to destroy his trust and his faith in relationships, and that's how you create people that look over their shoulder every time something doesn't seem right, and rather than being able to trust and love their partner. And I just think, yeah, man, I don't know. I think looking retrospectively after kind of us hashing it out a little bit, that's what I think the best course of action is for her not to tell him, but to leave him and just say, hey, I don't foresee us getting married. And I think that's an issue. I don't really see us getting married, and you deserve someone who's so in love with you. They know. And even if she's lying, she's already her whole relationship's going to be based on a lie if she doesn't tell him and she continues with the relationship. So,
well, Chef, we lost you for a second.
You hear me?
Welcome back.
Are we back?
Yeah, we got
sorry,
you loud and
dude.
clear.
I fell into the void, man. I'm so.
You know what?
I'm
It
so
happens,
sorry,
man.
I
Technology's tough sometimes.
Bro, I fell into the void.
It's okay. Well, Chef, I want you to weigh in because I think Tim and I have brought up a lot of good points. But
where were we at? So she has to tell the friend, right?
Yep.
So did she tell the friend? Did we get to that point?
We have not gotten to that point yet.
I think you got to tell the friend. I think that's the right thing to do. I think, I think your friend deserves to know that he's marrying a harpy woman, and he should know. I would want to know.
Well, yeah. So I want to get into a few of the comments here before I read the update, because again, we do have an update on the situation. So the top comment here, which is in very big detail, says, "What the heck? She didn't tell him despite promising she would. Then he proposed and she accepted. And then she had the gall to brag about this to you. Here's the conversation I would suggest you have with her. You need to tell Mason what happened. If you don't, I'm going to. Although personally, I would just go tell Mason directly. She had a chance to do this and she went completely in the other lying direction. If you give her opportunity, she'll probably lie repeatedly and do everything she can to throw you under the bus because she's proven she's a person with no morals whatsoever. If it were me, I'd risk the friendship ending and tell Mason. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be friends with someone who could do that anyhow. Remember, she may be putting Mason at risk of STDs at this point with her dishonesty."
That's true.
And that goes back to my point where I said, who knows if this is the first time she's done this. Okay, so here is the update. And this is a pretty lengthy one. Let me see here. Let me make sure I have the right update. Okay.
Oh, did Tim vanish now too? Did Tim fall into the void? No, dude, no.
No, did Tim fall into the void too? Oh,
dude,
no.
We're all falling into the void. Bro,
we're all falling into the void.
Come on, man.
You know what? I'm telling you, when it comes to technology, things can just happen. And you know what? Even when we're recording this in live, things just happen.
My stream crashed earlier today. I think I'm just having a bad day.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. So I'm gonna start reading this update, and then we can catch up, Tim, when he comes back. So there's two updates. So I'm gonna read update 1 to start. This one says, actually no, this update's not first. This update is first. So mini update. I met Mason at a cafe after work. He didn't look very good and all puffy. I gave him a huge hug and said, well, that's not how I expected that weekend to go. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. No, why did they date this weird? Okay, I'm sorry. Here's the first update. A quick thank you to everyone who responded. I wasn't able to respond to any more comments on my last post /update right away due to my post being locked, but here's the update now. As soon as I sent my last post, I knew that I had to tell Mason about what was going on. It wasn't to clear my conscience. It was because if I knew if I was in his position, I would want someone to tell me too. Mason is still one of my good friends too, and he didn't deserve that treatment, regardless of my relationship with Kiana. Kiana texted me while I was on my lunch and asked me what the weight limit was for a carry-on, and that's when I remembered she was going away to some conference and wouldn't be back until Saturday. I responded with the weight limit. I called Mason and he picked up and asked him if we could see each other that night. He said we can meet at a pub in between both of our offices after work that day. When I got off work and walked over to the pub, my stomach was in knots and my heart wouldn't stop beating because I was so nervous to break the news. I walked in and Mason was already waiting on me. He gave me a huge hug and he looked so happy, which made me feel even worse. Mason asked about my day. I asked about his, etc. He then asked if Kiana mentioned anything about the ring, if she liked it, if she was happy, etc. He must have saw the look on my face because he asked me what was wrong. I started by saying that what I'm about to tell him will change either his relationship with Kiana, his friendship with me, Kiana's friendship with me, or all the above. Mason looked confused, so I went on and told him about what happened Saturday. I didn't call Kiana any names. I didn't focus too much on her side of my side of the story. I just gave out an attempted objective narrative what happened right up until when she called me about the engagement and I asked if she was going to tell him and she said no. Mason went pale for a moment and I asked him if he needed a minute. Mason told me that Kiana said she got really drunk and slept on my place Saturday night, which is why she didn't come home to him. He asked to see the text I sent her, so I showed him the text thread and all the placed calls I made to see if she was okay. I told him if I were in his position, I would want to know, and because I cared for him, I didn't want him to find out later on. He looked at me with almost no expression on his face and said, well, I guess I should get tested, huh? I felt so bad for him and asked him if he needed anything. He told me he believed me and will talk to Kiana when he gets home. Mason said our friendship won't change and he's grateful that I told him before he ended up marrying her. It feels like shit because she accepted his proposal, flaunting the engagement ring to the world, yet slept with someone 4 days prior. He said he wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't the first time something like this happened. I told him I had no idea if anyone else had gone on, but if he needed anything else to let me know. He said he'll talk to Kiana when she gets back on Saturday. This is when he started to get a little teary-eyed and he had to go. He gave me a hug goodbye.
Poor guy.
I didn't hear from either of them until Saturday night around 11 p.m. when I got a call from Kiana asking if she could come to my place. She showed up 15 minutes later and was a crying mess. She said that Mason broke off the engagement because he logged onto her Facebook and found messages that she sent to some guys over the past year. Mason told her how I told him about last Saturday night, and she said she was too afraid to tell him because it was a mistake. Kiana then asked why I told him, and I said if it happened to her, I would do the same thing. And if it were me in Mason's position, I would want to know too. Her face started turning red, and she dropped a bomb on me. In my last post, I said that I knew how Mason felt because I was cheated on before. My last boyfriend, Dominic, and I were together for 3 years before he came to my place one drunken night out with hickeys on his neck. I knew they weren't for me and immediately broke it off with him. He doesn't know. He said he doesn't remember who they were from, which I knew was bullcrap. Kiana said that she was the one that Dominic cheated on me with, which means that not only did Dominic cheat on me with my best friend, but she cheated on Mason with him too. I couldn't even look at her. I asked her to leave and not contact me again. I've been questioning our friendship ever since. I got some texts and missed call from her asking me to hear her out, calling me a bitch, then going back to kissing my ass. I blocked her number and her profiles on all social media accounts. Mutual friends of ours have asked what has happened and said they're not surprised by her behavior. I heard from Mason on Monday night. He texted me saying it's over, and I asked if he was okay. Mason told me he will be eventually and asked me to meet him for coffee tonight when I'm done with work. Apparently he took a few days off for personal reasons. So that's about it, Reddit. Turns out I was blind to her character this whole time. I'm incredibly hurt that my so-called best friend has never really been a best friend to me at all. I can't be left wondering what else has happened, but to move on and spend time with my friends who care about me and have proven so. I might provide a mini update on here if anything else happens after I talk to Mason tonight. I'm still in shock by this whole ordeal. It makes me wonder if any of this would have come to light had I not said anything to Mason. Thanks for all your advice, internet strangers. I really appreciate it. Holy crap.
I mean, wow.
Crazy
My
lady.
God.
Crazy lady.
So, you've read this one, oh my God. Wow.
It's crazy to me that I just had this inkling that she's done this with other people before, especially with how willing she was to just lie about it and how she just felt like, oh, it was just a mistake. I'm like, there's just no way unless she's done this before. And the fact that, she brought up the fact way early on in the story that, she's been cheated on before. The fact that Kiana was the one that her boyfriend cheated on her with.
Dominic, yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Kiana really began around town, dude.
Seriously.
So here's my I how do you but we kind of hit the nail on the head, right? Like she's done this before.
Mm-hmm.
Now obviously no one could have seen that coming, that Dominic, the girl's ex-boyfriend that cheated on her, was with her best friend. Actually, that context is that's insane. I mean, Kiana's just genuinely not a good person. She didn't just ask you to violate your integrity. She stabbed you in the back. And again, multiple times. Unfortunately, people like that, you teach people how to treat you, is something that I've always been taught, is you teach people how to treat you, because you notice how have you ever met someone that they say they have boundaries, but they always let people violate their boundaries? You ever met that person? That's that's who Kiana feeds off of, because she'll violate people's boundaries over and over and over and over and over again, and she'll keep doing it if she keeps getting away with it. And unfortunately, that's where consequences have to come in. That's how people learn, and maybe they don't learn. They'll keep finding people to treat like crap until, man, that's wild. I don't know if I would have been able to ask her to leave. I don't know if I would have. I probably would have had a screw loose at that point. Find out that you're the reason that my boyfriend cheated on me and that we split up, and then you went and did it to your boyfriend that I actually
She sounds
respect
like
and
an
like.
evil woman. She sounds like an evil harpy lady, like a bird person with wings and claws and a beak. You know what I mean?
This is a classic situation of a cheater will always be a cheater.
Yeah.
Like this is such a classic case. And think about it. She pointed this out. Like, what if she had never told Mason? Like, she would have never found out all of these other things. Like Kiana wouldn't have gone off the rails and like told her all of this. You know what I mean? Like that's the crazy part to me.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. She did the right thing.
I think Kiana cheating on Mason, and this is going to be a wild take, I think it's the best thing that ever happened to the both of them, because now they both know the truth. Mason knows what kind of person she is before they got married, and her friend knows what kind of person she is completely. I don't think there's any salvaging that relationship or that friendship, and I think that's the best thing for the both of them.
No, I don't think they're salvaging anything in this situation. I mean, man, the fiance, because I mean they were engaged at that point. The fiance, like, wow. I mean, I can't imagine just having your friend just say, hey, by the way, like this happened, and like your fiance lied to you about this. Like, if she truly was sorry for what she did, she would have told him right then and there when he proposed. She would have told him right then and there, hey, we need to talk. But clearly, I mean, her character showed just by not saying anything.
Yeah.
I'm that just blew my mind. Like, I knew, like I said, I just had this gut feeling that,
Is there more to this?
like, she had done this.
Is there another update to this?
I mean, there's a second update. I mean, the second update really just kind of adds on a little bit how, you know, her and Mason had met again, and just saying, like, you know, he kicked her out of the house, he got the ring back, he changed all the passwords, like he blocked her off of everything. Like, it's just adding on to like the conversation and whatnot, but it's nothing anything crazy. There were some commenters that thought that OP was going to become like friends with benefits with Mason, like after they both had gone to the same thing. And she basically said, that's never going to happen, because, you know, she knows how she felt when it happened to her. So, like, you know, she wants to, you know, give him space and just be there for him as a friend, and doesn't want to pursue like any kind of romantic relationship. And I think that's the best thing. Like, I think it would be very weird to create a relationship out of this.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Wow. What a way to end it.
Man, you know, I question, you know, do you think that, like, how do you think that turns out if she never tells Mason? Like, what do you think happens? Like, that ends.
He finds out at some point.
Yeah, I would like to think that at some point he would have found out, because she could have gotten sloppy and, like, you know, left breadcrumbs and he would have found it. But, like, I don't know. I mean, there's also the side where, like, they could have gotten married and he would have never known about anything, and she would have kept doing the same thing.
It depends on how oblivious Mason is.
Yeah.
This I think this ends in paternity court is where that ends. If she doesn't tell him, because I mean, Mason seems like the kind of guy who, like, wants to do things the right way. Like, he wants to get married. He probably, you know, if he does want to have kids, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he is this oblivious and he just believes her at face value, you know, Kiana seems like the type of person that wants to have her cake and eat it too. She wants the perfect, she wants the picture perfect marriage. And then she also wants the, hey, can I have a little bit of fun while I'm doing this? You know, so I think it ends in paternity court. I think she ends up in front of a judge on live TV telling people whether or not it's his kid.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I didn't even think about it like that, but I kind of feel you on that. I think it's going to end up Mason finds out when his son looks nothing like him. Why is my son Asian?
he's got more melanin than I do. What's going on? I just a little more melanin than me.
I mean, this also could have ended in him like catching a disease too. You know what I mean? Which would have been like one of the worst case scenarios.
He finds out because he has an outbreak of herpes would be wild. That would be the craziest.
My gosh.
They come in, he's not feeling well for a couple of days. They do a test. They're like, sir, you have Magic Johnson disease. What is that? Yeah, you have AIDS. Sorry, should have just told you. You have.
That's like
I mean,
I was kind of hoping that it didn't end like that. You know what I mean? Like I was hoping that it was like this was her first time, and like, you know, it
hell
was a mistake,
no, dude. There's probably more
like,
times.
That doesn't. But no. What I'm saying is, like, you know, there was a little part of me that was like, okay, maybe this was her first time, and maybe she just genuinely thinks that she can get away with it, like, you know, because it was just a one-time thing of a mistake, whatever. But like, you know, that's where, you know, you got to read more into it, and then you realize, well, the gut feeling was right the whole time.
I don't advocate for violence, but I'm surprised the friend didn't punch her in the face. I'm just gonna throw it out there. You know what I mean? I don't advocate for violence, but like,
yeah, you know, like,
I think she should have did it.
Like, I mean, dude, I mean, how do you hear that? How do you hear you're cheating on one of my good friends, and then you were the reason my relationship fell apart, my long-term relationship fell apart because you cheated with my boyfriend, and then,
like right to her face too. Like, it wasn't like over a phone call or a text message. It was literally right to her face. Like, I commend OP for like having the I don't know if I would call it patience, but having the composure to not legitimately just flatten her right then and there.
Oh, it would have looked like a WWE ring. I would have I would have drop kicked her.
OP's taking her to Suplex City.
From
just
top
Brock Lesnar
ring.
style, just
from the top rope.
Like,
no, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, but you know, and the thing is this, like, Kiana's one of those people. She damages every relationship in her life, and she's going to keep doing that until she gets the help she needs, because there's something deeply wrong with someone who can have so many layered levels of screwed up and just keep that going, keep that trend going and going and going and going. Because again, like I said, you know, I'm glad they found out, but she's just going to make more friends. She's just going to get into another relationship. She's just going to do the same thing again, because it's just,
she clearly has a pattern of it.
Yeah. I mean, habits die hard, right? You know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately,
dude, man, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't have a lot of words for that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it kind of just leaves you speechless. Like, you're just like,
there should be like some sort of like registry that, you know, people that are like that, they get put on, and then it's like you can't like a sex offenders list, but for people that are like chronic cheaters and manipulators and things like that, you know what I mean? And then they can't get marriid, or they can't get in relationships or something, or like they gotta like clear it with the website or something. You know what I mean? Something like that, dude. I think a lot of problems in the world would be solved with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing about relationships in general is, like, you know, when you're not, like, people get into relationships and they think like, oh, like, you've been together for, let's say, like 6 months to a year, but like you haven't lived with each other. Like, people think they know everything, but like, rule number one about relationships is you truly don't know someone until you actually live with them. Because like, they can say all the things in the world, but like, once you actually like live with that person and see their habits and see how they act on a day-to-day basis, you just truly don't know a person.
You know, it's it's so funny. You see so many stories that are like this on Reddit, and you see stories like this on like Craigslist back pages. Like, there's places like everywhere you see these stories. People put them in the wildest places, but it's just so
what are you doing on the back pages?
What is this? What?
Dude, there was a website actually back in 2007 called hey, you know, you'll see some funny things on there, Chef. I feel like don't check my internet history, okay? All right, that's all you need. So thedirty.com was a website that we used to see stories like this all the time, and it's so funny that this lady, she just reminds me of, like, she's gonna be the girl that nobody wants to be with because her provocateur history is going to create a reputation for her around town. And eventually someone's going to find out, and someone's going to tell someone else, and someone's going to tell someone else, because that's just how that's unfortunately you can only do this so many times before people start to recognize you.
Yeah, I think this is just a classic, like a very classic situation of like, this girl doesn't need to be in a relationship. She needs to like learn how to be by herself.
Yes.
I think once she learns how to be by herself, only then do I truly think that like she'll get to a point where like she wouldn't do this again. But then again, we don't know that. But it's just a problem. Like, some people truly really just don't know how to be alone.
Lack of
Even
self-love.
even in relationships, you see it all the time where, you know, instead of like saying, hey, like, instead of communicating your feelings and saying, hey, I feel a certain way, I feel, you know, I feel like you're not paying attention to me, I feel, you know, this and that, it's going to the alternative of, you know what, I'm just gonna do this instead, you know. And I don't know why that's an alternative, but, well, gentlemen, that was a very interesting last story. I know we had some technical difficulties, which always happens in a live recording session. Gentlemen, any last words that you would like to say to the audience before we wrap this up?
Know who you're getting involved with in a relationship. Relationships are, people like to say they're 50-50. I say they're 100-100. It's 100% commitment all the time, 100% love all the time. And that's how you make a relationship work. Always try to be honest with each other.
You know, I would probably say just hold yourself accountable, hold your friends accountable, set clear boundaries, and even in situations where you think things should be inherently known, like in the dinner situation earlier, just make sure that you have clear communication. And if you feel like you're valuing attention that's not from your immediate circle, your tribe, your person, recognize that that's probably a self-love issue, and it's probably something you should work on. Do the hard work. Don't do the easy work. It's easy to get attention from somebody else. It's hard to learn to be okay with not getting attention from somebody else. So, you know, and obviously I hope everybody has a kick-ass weekend. And I appreciate Echoes for having me on, for sure.
Yeah, it's this has been a blast. Like I said, I kind of took y'all on a little bit of a roller coaster with these stories, but it's always so fun for me to explore Reddit and just go down these rabbit holes and find some of these, like, the craziest stories. So, but gentlemen, I do want to thank you guys so much for being on the podcast tonight. Great conversations, great opinions. For those of you guys watching the video after this recording, I am going to have both of their links in the description. So please make sure that you guys go check these absolutely amazing creators out. And Chef is just having a party up there. It's fine. He's just going. He's just going. But again, gentlemen, thank you guys so much. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Chef Bugrub, Tim Sanity, it has been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. And thank you guys so much. And I'm excited to see what you guys do next. So
appreciate you, Echoes. Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 2
Echoes
of the...
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
I want to let everybody know, you guys should definitely go check out Echoes Nation's song, Put Me on the Shelf. Wait, is that what it's called? Wait, what's the song called? Put Me on a Shelf. That I sing on with him. And you guys should go check it out.
I made music with this guy.
And that's all. That's all I want to say.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 2 of the Red Flag Review. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And until the next time, goodbye, and hope y'all have a great day.